Now, Tourism Australia, chaired by former Qantas chief Jeff Dixon, has welcomed Qantas's restructuring plans, saying the focus on Asia is where growth in tourism will come from. Unions, on the other hand, are far from impressed. The man in the hot seat is Qantas CEO Alan Joyce, and I spoke with him just a short time ago. Alan Joyce, welcome to the programme.
Thanks for having me again, Tikki.
Building a stronger Qantas is the banner. The reality, though, is that customers want cheaper flights. The airline costs are, as you say, 20% higher than Qantas's competition. If this is a winner, surely it will be because you've built two new successful Asian hubs in all but name with local support and staffing.
Well, there's a lot of misinformation about what we're actually doing in Asia. Take, for example, the Jetstar Japanese operation. That's going to be a new venture that's going to fly within Japan and from Japan to Southeast Asia and China. That's an Australian business doing well in Japan with a Qantas venture, and we think that will make money and allows us to repatriate the money back here to Australia.
But I'm looking at, for example, the whole idea of the Qantas brand, and we still call Australia home. The papers this morning, the wraparounds, but I put it to you, it was the privatisation and the need to get around the Qantas Sales Act that actually will end up damaging the Qantas brand. I mean, you say Qantas is taking only 18 of 100 passengers out of Australia at the moment, but your new Quasar premium airline and Jetstar Asia may pick up more in future, but it probably won't be Qantas, will it?
It won't be Qantas, but I cannot say, what I've been relating this back to is what happened in the domestic market 10 years ago. Because in the domestic market 10 years ago, people were saying that Qantas was dead. Qantas was going to be replaced by the low-cost carriers. We didn't believe them, and we set up Jetstar. We set up Jetstar to be competitive against low-cost carriers entering. Then we heard that Jetstar was going to replace Qantas. 10 years later, we have Qantas as the largest airline in the domestic market still, growing by 5% every year, the most profitable carrier in the domestic market, because we turned it around. I want to do the same for the international business, and I believe I can do the same for the international business, but we have to change.
Well, let me go to the howls of protest, and starting with the Aircraft Engineers Union, which says the move to open up a new premium airline in Asia is clearly a step to avoid obligations under the Qantas Sale Act. Now, you've presumably had a close look at the Qantas Sale Act.
Yeah, and this is absolutely that. This is not the first time that's been used, because when we set up Jetstar to fly internationally, the unions claimed that was in violation of the Qantas Sale Act, and they took a legal case against us. The unions have to stop wasting their members' money on taking trivial, irrelevant action against us in the courts. Can I say again, this is not about us offshoring jobs. What we're doing is setting up two new ventures in Asia to take advantage of the Asian growth, and these will be flying intra-Asia. And this is also improving Qantas's position for our customers to give us more frequency and more destinations into Australia that we can't support without an Asian hub.
This is Qantas travel, though, and you say, as we mentioned before, costs are 20% higher than other airlines. There is a relationship between safety and cost at some level. I know Lateline was doing stories on Jetstar Asia and some of the cabin staff suffering fatigue and being bonded to their jobs. Are we going to see more of this?
Well, I have to say, we take safety unbelievably serious across the whole of the group. And I'm the only CEO in Qantas's history that grounded a fleet. I grounded the A380s because I was worried about the engines on the aircraft when we had an engine failure, and that cost us over $100 million. I'll never put profit and I'll never put costs ahead of passenger safety, and people can be guaranteed that. Now, what we're seeing with Jetstar is competing in the Asian market, and it's competing against other carriers. Jetstar applies the same standards that we apply, and there was a mistake that was made one of the operators up in Asia. We fixed that. That was the wrong thing to do, and I was very annoyed when I found out about it.
Cabin crews traditionally at Qantas have earned well. How much of a cost saving will cabin crews be for you when you phase out your 747s and bring in more A380s? Because most of the A380 crew are on new conditions, aren't they?
They are, but over time we have to change. change, and the cabin crew have been changing. Still the roles that we have with cabin crew are still highly paid jobs, and they're very attractive to people. Take the Jetstar example that you had for its crew based in Thailand. Those crew are paid in the top 3% of Thai employees. They're good paid jobs. We actually have lawyers actually leaving the legal profession to work for Jetstar as cabin crew. Now, the impression that people have is that people are in bondage, it's slave labour, but these are lawyers that actually want to work for the airline up there. These are good paying jobs.
All right, you could have waited till the results next week, I suppose, to announce all this. The pilot's main spokesman is flying to London doing his job. He's back on Friday. How bad do you think this is going to get in terms of industrial action? You've got Nick Xenophon on your tail as well.
Well, I have to say, I know change is difficult, and I know the union leaders don't like change. They'd like nothing to have changed in this market. We have to change Qantas for it to survive. We're coming up to the 10th anniversary of Ansett collapse. I've seen some great brand names like Pan Am and TWA disappear in the airline industry. We want Qantas to be around for the next 90 years. We want Qantas to survive. We have to change in order to do that. We have huge amount of competition. Let me jump to the other side of the debate.
Is this funding plan going to happen fast enough? You've got 5 years that you're going to do it through. Qantas International is hemorrhaging a couple of $100 million a year. We might have a global recession. We might have another volcano.
Yes. Well, I have to say, one of the great things we've done, management has done, we created Jetstar, we created a frequent flyer program, and that's given us time because both of those businesses are producing good profits. Our Qantas domestic business, which we turned around, is producing good profits. That's given us time to be able to turn around the international because of the decisions we've made in the past. So we do have the time for that to occur. We're the only investment-grade, credit-rated airline in the world. We're still one of the few profitable airlines in the world. We're a great Australian success story. We want it to be a great Australian success story for the future. That's what this is all about.
Alan Joyce, I thank you very much. I can't believe the negotiations you must have gone through, but thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks very much, Tikki. Thank you.